lot to the table. The idea is that we are not just quantitatively skilled, but we are so high on EQ, on our emotional quotient about compassion, empathy, passion. These are the things that we bring to the table. And that's why I believe that women are the future. Well, we've always been the future, but that's an additional thing that we bring to the table.
Women have always known to be multitaskers. With new opportunities opening and social setup changing, we can see more women coming forward in the workforce and not shying away from taking leadership.
The women who lead us, fueling entrepreneurship. Women leaders both in India and the UAE are increasingly challenging boundaries, breaking the once impregnable glass ceiling and taking businesses to greater heights by combining their unique abilities to work tirelessly, think out of the box, blend pragmatism with dreaming big and inspiring those who work for them. They have big goals and even bigger commitments, delivering on IPOs and becoming entrepreneurs being just a few of those. Our panel has some of the most influential women leaders who will shape our tomorrow. Dr. Sapna Poti, Director, Strategic Alliances Division, Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. Dr. Poti's primary role is to promote scientific R&D and innovations for social impact and to address industry problems through industry, foundations and government channels. This includes engaging science and technology institutes and the entire startup ecosystem to meet national missions and priorities. Shada El Borno, Managing Director, Standard Chartered Bank, Dubai. Based in Dubai, Shada has been part of Standard Chartered Bank since 1996. Before her current role, Shada has worked across a variety of functions and is known for driving business results, maximizing performance and providing the highest levels of service. Dr. Bubbles Kandhari is the Vice Chairperson of Guru Nanak Darbar Gurudwara, Dubai, UAE, Director of Al Dobowi Group, Dubai, and Chairperson Young Hearts Group and Dubai Ladies Group in Dubai. Nargish Khambata is the Principal and CEO of GEMS Modern Academy. Nargish is also Vice President Education and is the recipient of the first ever GEMS Exceptional Head of School Award 2018. With a master's degree in microbiology, she made the transition from teaching to educational leadership, having spent over 32 years in the field of education. Be inspired. Festival of Ideas. Women who lead us. Dr. Sapna Poti, Shada El Borno and Dr. Bubbles Kandhari in conversation with Nargish Khambata.
My question to you is, would you first introduce yourselves? You've heard that introduction, but now we want to unmask the real you and use any entrepreneurial trait. Take your pick. There are so many, whether it's courage or whether it's confidence or whether it is leaning into failure or whether it is risk-taking, whatever it is. Introduce yourself, the real you, the person behind your mask and persona, and share with us who you really are.
My name is Shada El Borno. I'm an Emirati born and brought up in Dubai. I'm a loving daughter, a very proud sister, and the world's best aunt. I started my career in Standard Chartered 25 years ago as a graduate trainee. Today, I'm a managing director for the multinationals business, one of the biggest segments of the bank. It has been a long journey in the making, 25 years, as I mentioned. I got here through patience, perseverance, a lot of self-learning and courage. And the underlying trait in all of that is emotional intelligence and vulnerability, which to me worked as the most compelling trait in winning trust for myself and belief in myself and that of others around me.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Bubbles.
My trait that you had asked me to choose as trait, one of them, and I think the most prominent, is self-confidence. I am a vice chairperson of Guru Nanak Darbar, which is very close to my heart. Then I'm also a director in Al Dubovi, and I also am running an underprivileged organization for underprivileged children and special needs children. And I was to choose my honors subject. So I chose statistics, economics, statistics, and politics. I did my honors in that. So when I chose these subjects, my mother was kind of taken off by surprise. And she said, why these? These are so dry subjects and you're more on the creative side. So I told her, you know what? I want to try these subjects. I want to do different things. And I have the confidence and I have the ability and the hard work. I would say self-confidence in every woman is very, very important. And okay, despite of having had so many whatever awards or titles or the doctorate that was given, all that pales in front of the title that is given by us by the Supreme God, and that is the title of being a woman. And I'm proud and blessed to be a woman.
Thanks, Bubbles. The one thing that touches my heart, Bubbles, from what I know of you, is the program that you started called Young Hearts. I don't know if the audience knows this, but she takes 80 and 90-year-olds and makes them feel like 18 and 19-year-olds. So, yes, so she's definitely a woman of substance. Thank you for sharing, Bubbles. Sapna.
So normal people worry me a lot. The two traits that I think make me, one is risk-taking and the other is being an outlier. My father taught me that, studies is not as important as sports is for a woman. And I was quite surprised because everybody else in the south of India focuses a lot on studies and, mugging and rote learning and so on. But he put me onto badminton, swimming and all of that. He said, you're going to learn life skills. You're going to learn perseverance. You're going to learn, how to work hard and how to be disappointed and then stand up again and all of that. So I think all those traits which my father taught me is the other thing that I learned, and which I think an entrepreneur needs to learn in any case. And a few years fast forward to that, I used to get thoroughly bored with the brands that I worked with. I worked with Deloitte, I worked with ITC, Tata's, Toyota. And all of them bored me because by the time I was 5:30 in the evening, I was dead tired and I was thinking to myself, why am I chasing only money? And why am I making the rich richer? So I realized that my calling is to work for the underprivileged, work in the government, work at a scale which has a lot of risks because you're working with the government and you're still talking about risk. And you're talking about big scale, right? So I think risk-taking and being an outlier has helped me a lot.
Thank you very much. And I love the fact that it was your dad who applied the selective pressure by really pushing you into the sports arena. Which sport did you play, by the way?
Badminton and swimming.
2022 we're in. We're still talking about the glass ceiling. Does it really exist? What was your superpower to smash that glass ceiling? And if you were to give your 18-year-old self advice, what would that be?
So the glass ceiling is breaking increasingly day by day. But I've learned that there are two forms of glass ceiling. One are self-limiting beliefs, which we impose on ourselves and to a great extent manifest. And then there's the other, which external factors set for us. In my opinion and from my experience, both of them are breakable if we smash our self-limiting beliefs. So if I were to look back, I would tell myself to be true to who I am, because honesty and authenticity are key, and to believe in myself more, often than not. It's very important in life to respond to situations. And I've learned the difference between reacting and responding, because reacting is on the moment, which happens in the heat of the moment you react to something. But responding, taking a step back, assessing the situation, calculating risks, and deciding the way forward.
Young Hearts, as you're talking about, which was a great thing because this was something that I wanted to give back to society, and entails also compassion and love that you want to exude to the world, to the people who really need it at this stage of their lives. And the other thing that was really, really close to my heart, as I mentioned earlier, is the Gurdwara. We built that Gurdwara. Just when we were doing that, people never thought we could. And they said, you're being stupid, thinking of something like this in an Islamic country. But the authorities were so kind. They understood what we wanted and the need. And not only that they understood, they gave us the land free. So these are the few things I felt that it was important, and this is how our life went on.
Thank you so much, Bubbles. Swapna, as a young girl, you probably had star in your eyes, lofty ambitions, dreams. How did you make that a reality?
Right. So I talked about my father, and unfortunately, though he was everything for me and he brought me up, at the age of 16, I lost him. So I think that was the real trigger, because otherwise maybe I would have been a spoilt and, So I have an elder brother who's a schizophrenic, and my mom was a housewife, but she managed to kind of get a compensatory job and so on. But that is when I realized that I need to stand for this family and I have to move on. So I changed a lot of cities, and I did my MBA, then I did my PhD. And while in school, actually, I used to fail in about 3 or 4 subjects easily. And I used to always have this report card saying very beautifully, failed but promoted to the next class. But then I said, okay, I have to be serious. But at the same time, I told myself that if my dad can pass away so early in life, that means you need to enjoy your life as well. So it's not only hard work. So I play hard and I also work hard. So and most people have seen the play part more, So they see the Facebook and they keep saying, okay, she's got a Jeep, she's in the mountains, she's having a good time. When does she work? And how did she reach the Prime Minister's office? How come she's working under principal scientific advisor and she says she's done 1,578 crores? How? So that's the trick. Keep everybody busy with everything else and keep doing your work in the behind. So that's how I've been doing it. And the whole idea is how to execute, because we talk a lot of ideas, a lot of big dreams and all of that, but execution is what I focus on. I'm like, you start something, you better end it. However it is, yes or no, I want that answer and I want to complete that implementation project, and that's how I've done it.
What are some of the, really hard challenges that you faced, and how have you overcome it?
I lost my mom recently, so which means that I actually don't have a family other than my brother. But throughout the career, I've only got challenges to face. For instance, when I was in skill development, I was offered the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, which is the Prime Minister's flagship program. I said, I don't want to do it. So they were like, you're out of your mind, you're refusing a PM's program. So I said, I'm refusing for your own good, because I'm very, I can't deal with corruption. I'm very ethical. So, and finally this program is not going to go ahead. So give me Northeast, give me Jammu Kashmir, give me Naxal area. So that is how I got the difficult regions, and I did that quite a bit. I did a UDAN program for Ministry of Home Affairs and so on, where we gave a lot of jobs to Jammu Kashmir and those Naxalite areas, and took a lot of corporates to those areas and so on. So that's one challenge that I faced. Skill development to science, that's quite a jump, because scientists and technologists, they are people who do good technology and they're very, very intense in their labs, but they don't know how to make a proposal, how to pitch and so on. So that's the other challenge which I've taken on now, that I actually help them to pitch for themselves and market for themselves and so on, while I don't have a marketing background myself.
So for myself, how I've learned to tackle challenges is with time, experience on the job and in life, and maturity. It's not about the number of times that I fell down. It's how fast I just got up, shrugged the challenge off my shoulder like a dust, and then moved on. And I've learned to accept that there's lessons from all of them and no failures. So on the health side, for example, I went through a lot of health issues most recently, and they do impede my ability to work as fast or as proactively as I would. But still, I just kind of learned how to accommodate tackling it, or kind of taking my medicines on time, etc., and then attending to my work, my team, making sure, putting up a very strong face, waking up, trying to look good, because when you look good, you also feel good, and just facing my day and moving forward.
on the one side, you have an entrepreneurial mindset, you're excellent at what you do. On the other side, you're a philanthropist. And there will be people who take advantage. How do you...
It's your left and right side of the brain that has to take action and balance things together. So yes, sometimes they do take advantage. You can't say you're always 100% right, but then that's their karma. You have to gauge yourself. You have to have a little bit of brain, which I'm sure everybody does, and then not be swayed by their, their lectures and their talks. Find out a little more detail before you get into it. And if you still are wrong sometimes, you are still right because you've done the right thing.
Quite a few women in STEM are, working a lot on research and development. So they're working on water technologies, they're working on waste management, they're working on renewable energy and so on. Where they empathize is, one, of course, the technology is built, but they're not keeping the technology close to their chest. They feel that it should be distributed. And quite a few of them work with NGOs, and they offer these technologies free of cost to these NGOs to implement it on the ground and engage communities and so on. So I think women are already doing a lot of that, and 30 years down the line, more women are going to get into STEM. And so that's how you'll scale up, and that's how they're going to go on the ground. And most of the NGOs are also run by most of these women, like Seva, Development Alternatives, Mandeshi, all of them are run by women.
Correct. I see women at the helm of it all. 30 years from them, we're already, as I alluded earlier on, making great strides towards that. We're seeing women participation at work, in politics, in making policies and making reforms in the field of sustainability and STEM education, a lot more prominent right now. And that only means, and that's going to be scalable. And in doing that, in empowering them and educating them and them leading the way, definitely they're going to be at the helm of it. So we're going to see a lot more balanced view going forward. That's what I foresee.
Gurdwara was built with things in mind that all Gurdwaras are, but it was with a slight difference. We had a vision, rather my husband had a vision, and of course I supported him, was to make it something a cut above the edge, so to say. And we had this ISO certifications because we wanted it to be clean, healthy. There were 4 certifications that we have, which is actually a record in any religious institution. So which is considering hygiene, food, and lots of other things. These 4 ISOs, we've got 2 world records. It's absolutely entrepreneurial in the sense that you are making sure that all the activities and all the things are done in right order and the money is going to the right places. For example, we were serving during pandemic. We served about 150 lakhs or something, 150,000 kilos of food all over Dubai, UAE rather, to the hospitals, to the camps and things like that. We had 15 chartered flights. We sent people back home. So these are things, they require money. But at the same time, it's not used that, it was only for the betterment of the community, betterment of the society, and to give. And also, by the way, we started a little school there. Now that we're talking about it, we started a little school wherein now we have 91 kids. And what we teach them is how to be a good human being. And when you see these kids actually coming out after 4 years of so-called graduation that we made, it's such a beautiful sight and such a kind of fulfillment that you get by doing something like this.
I will pick on 3 adjectives or words you use: leadership, vision, and collaborative. And I think both leaders of both our countries share those traits in a very big way. So indeed, and the partnership and the signing, the agreement that we saw today is a testament to the trust, the collaborative efforts that have been in the making for a very long time, the vision that both countries have shared for their people and for their countries, and the leadership, which is at the helm. This is how I would put it.
The leaders from this side are also very encouraging, and you would have seen a lot of unicorns and startup ecosystem and all of that we are working on. So I think there's a lot of learning both ways, and also the fact that we are good at some points. There are some strengths that our nation has. So those are the strengths that we'll be bringing onto the table. So I think it's a brilliant partnership that will be happening this time.
What do you think women need to upskill in terms of leveraging what this new pact is going to throw for them?
I see more and more girls entering the domain of STEM education. More and more women. We have Her Excellency Sarah, right? More and more girls are, venturing into the field of science, artificial intelligence, applied sciences. So the groundwork is already happening there, and hopefully through partnerships like that will create, they'll go from education to employment, because there'll be areas for them to apply their knowledge and experience in contributing towards these sectors and these, this new economy.
And in terms of policy making, what is lacking? What else needs to be in place to really allow women to leverage these opportunities that are just lurking around the corner?
So actually the policies are all in place. Like I said earlier, the execution is more important, but we need to see what's going to the ground and how many women actually get this. So for instance, if I ask the audience here, did you know that there are specific entrepreneurship development programs in Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, MHRD? How many of you knew, and what are the names of those policies? So the communication is what we need to work on. The execution is what we need to work on. That's what we do. But of course, I largely take the industry and the philanthropic funding to the researchers and to the innovators, and I execute in my space.
And I think this is where the partnership will play a very big role, in where each organization, each one of the countries will play to their complementary skills, yes. Right? And because that's how you level the playing field.
Right. In fact, one of the very nice policies that we have is the top 10 women are sent to the Silicon Valley to study, to learn on startup ecosystem and all of that. So you can well imagine if UAE and India cohort is made together and they go to the Silicon Valley.
Wonderful.
To learn something.
While we're looking at the top echelons, and we push them hard and they do very well, but there are so many just subliminal, just below that, who are also, ready and raring to go. What are the opportunities they have?
Right. So, in fact, Sanjoy and I are working on this Women in STEM series, where we are looking at how, first of all, we are also looking at top 75 women to be awarded, so that people at least know that these are the women in these areas and all of that. We're also looking at how the senior women offer mentorship and offer internships in their workplace. So we've got organizations like Biocon, Syngene, a German company called BASF. So we've got a lot of industries who are interested in funding internships in research labs and so on. So we've built the entire program of sorts for these younger women or undergrads to go to research labs where they come from different colleges and institutes where they don't have this facility.
I've seen a lot of organizations collaborate and come up with accelerator programs for the purpose of mentoring women across different milestones of their entrepreneurship journeys, and that's going to help in a very big way. And we don't have to restrict it, with all due respect, to only women mentors, but we look definitely to our male allies and champions to help in that in a very big way, because again, we won't achieve equality without their support and their sponsorship. So that's key. So definitely mentorship is a big help, and we're seeing green shoots of that. I'm aware of many programs, of many organizations, as I said, that come together, partner up, and open the space for entrepreneurs to come and pitch their ideas, looking for networking, funding, mentorship, support, and guidance, and hopefully that will help in a very big way.
They say women are more intuitive, they manage people better, but they're not as task-oriented as men. Now, and I'm stirring the pot there. So,
you are absolutely, and I don't agree with you. Part of your question is right. Yes,
I said they say.
Yes, we are intuitive, but absolutely not that we don't care about the task that we are supposed to do. We definitely do it well. And I have two examples as far as my personal is concerned, is that, see, young hearts. It's completely all about how you treat your elders, how you look after them, how they need this kind of, talking and dealing with them one-on-one basis and stuff like that. At the same time, you're not compromising on any of their activities that you want to do. We have 2 world records of the Gurdwara, doing one for maximum nationalities that have had breakfast. And we also did interfaith sessions, conferences. We've had interfaith conferences, and we're doing we're doing the Women's Day. And we've been doing so many such activities. So there's no way we've compromised. So there's no way we can say that we are just intuitive and nothing
Thank you
else.
for that emphatic endorsement.
So I would just stick to be honest, be authentic, be true to who you are. Remain consistent and committed and focused and motivated, because it requires all of the above for us collectively. And I look forward to all of us to challenge the bias mindsets, self-limiting biases and mindsets, and let's work together collectively to make it a fair and equitable place for all of us.
Thank you.
Be inspired. Festival of Ideas. And innovation can change the world. All we need is passion, focus, and a desire to help. If you have an innovation, please send it to us at whatever stage it is in. Our panel of experts will assess it and help propel it towards reality. The sky is your limit. Don't wait. Mail us your idea or innovative thought at beinspired@teamworkarts.com.